Who has been every Premier League club's unsung hero this season? I'm going to run through every single Premier League club and pick out who I think it is. Starting off with Arsenal, and this was a fairly simple one for me because Gabriel Saliba and Jurrien Timber get all the credit for that Arsenal defence, but I think Pierre Hincapié has been just as good as them, really grown into the season really well, a really underrated player. Aston Villa was a bit trickier, but obviously the likes of Morgan Rogers, Boubacar Kamara, Yuri Tielemans always get all the credit, but John McGinn, consistent every single week, a big game player, very underrated. Bournemouth have a ton of unsung heroes, the likes of Ryan Christie and Lewis Cook, but for me this season it's got to be James Hill. I think he's been absolutely fantastic, yet no one talks about him. Similar sort of thing can be said about Brentford. I very nearly went with Sepp van den Berg because I think Nathan Collins gets all the credit for that defence, but overall I'm going to go with this man, Matthias Jensen. I think it's arguably been his best season for Brentford, and he's had some really high-level seasons before that as well. For Brighton, I very nearly went with Ferdy Kadioglu, but overall I'm going to give my flowers to this man, Mats Weaver, who's been playing out of position for the vast majority of this season, putting in an absolute shift, a great player. Burnley's really tricky because the whole squad's absolute crap, but maybe Zian Fleming. I think he's scored nearly 10 goals this season, which is pretty decent for such a poor side. And Chelsea is also very, very tricky because they've had an absolutely dreadful season, but I do think Joel Hatto is probably slightly overhated. I think he had a really poor start, but he's only young and he's grown into the season pretty well. For Crystal Palace, shout out to both defenders, Lacroix and Chris Richards, but I'm going to go with this man, Ismaila Sarr, because he's on track for a 25 goal involvement season from the wing, which is no one is talking about him. He's been absolutely fantastic and no one talks about it. Everton for me is a similar one to Mats Weaver at Brighton. I'm going to go with this man, Jake O'Brien. He's been playing out of position for the whole season, putting a shift, fair play to him. And then Fulham I really struggle with, to be honest, but I think that Joachim Andersen has been underrated for some time now. Leeds have a lot of players that you could go with. I actually really like a lot of this Leeds squad. You could go with Goodmanson. Ethan Ampadu is a massive shout-out. I think he's been absolutely fantastic. But I'm going to go with Jayden Bogle. I think he's been one of the better right-backs in the league. Liverpool, I had literally no idea because I don't think they've got a single unsung hero. But overall, I'd maybe say Florian Wirtz just because he's been so overhated, especially in the first half of the season. Yes, he's not worth the price tag, but he is a baller. City is a straight shootout between Kusanov and Mateus Nunes, who are both massively, massively underrated. But fair play to this guy. I thought his City career was done. He's now transitioned into a right-back somehow. No one expected that and been fantastic. United's tough because I think a lot of their good players have been getting the right credit that they deserve. Overall, I'd maybe go with Senna Lammens because I think he's genuinely been one of the best keepers in the league. Newcastle have had an absolutely dreadful season, so picking an unsung hero is very, very tricky. Maybe Malik Thiaw. Then Forest for me is between Ibrahim Sangare and this man, Neco Williams, but I've got to give this man a massive shout out. Again, another player out of position. There's a bit of a theme here. I've only just realised it, but he's been absolutely fantastic at left back. I think he's arguably been better than Ola Aina this season. So many of Sunderland's new signings this season have got the credit that they deserve, other than I think this man, Omar Alderete, who's been an absolute stalwart at the back for this Sunderland side, been an absolute beast. Every time I watch him, he's one of the best players on the pitch, yet gets not that much credit really. Shout out to him. Spurs is quite literally impossible. I have absolutely no idea. João Palhinha. Then West Ham is a straight shootout between the two centre-halves, Mavropanos and Axel Disasi, but I'm going to go with this man, give him a big shout-out because most of Premier League fans absolutely can't stand him. And then Wolves, very, very tricky, but I'm going to go with this man, Ladislav Kreshki. But let me know what you think in the comments. Who is your club's biggest unsung